Oklahoma taking on Nebraska. Oklahoma here, 11.5-point road favorites in this game. The total sitting at around 64 and a half in this game. It had to happen, Connor. It had to happen after what we saw Saturday night against Georgia Southern. It's this proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. In this case, Scott Frost on Saturday night. It had to happen. You know, it was a horrible loss. No question about that. They just found it's just, you know what? They had opportunities to win that game. They kept on coming back. They kept on getting the lead. And then they just gave it right back over and over again to Georgia Southern. And, of course, they get the touchdown to take the lead. Nebraska tries with the few seconds they have left to get in position to kick the field goal to win it, but it falls short, and they end up losing to Georgia Southern. And that was it. You know, I said right away, he's done. You know, they're not going to – they can't keep him after this. And everybody
and they paid a lot of money
to
do that, to cut him early. Woo-wee.
Yeah, no doubt. So the field goal missed at the end, not to win it, I should say, to tie it, and they end up losing 45-42. Nothing fluky. This is not, 45-42 losses, 23-point home favorites. Georgia Southern lucked into it. No, Georgia Southern outgained Nebraska by 67 yards. They were full marks for that victory. That's why it was such an indictment of Scott Frost. You know, Georgia Southern out of the Sun Belt went into Lincoln and actually outplayed Nebraska. We're better than Nebraska, and that was it. So Scott Frost is out. He was fired early on Sunday, and now Mickey Joseph is taking over as the interim head coach here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We'll see how that goes. It's probably one of those deals where they're going to look for a new head coach in the offseason, unless Mickey Joseph somehow gets something unexpected out of this football team this year. But I don't know if that's the case. We're going to find out, because I don't always think in the college football sphere that the bet on the team after the coach gets fired angle, I don't always assume that it's going to work in college football as well as it does, say, in the NHL, NBA, where a lot of times you bet on the team after the coach gets fired and all of a sudden, bam, they're playing better. I don't know if you're going to get that here. I really don't. I think obviously something had to be done. Frost was doing a poor job. I get that. But this looks like to me with Mickey Joseph, unless they just go, set crazy and they go 7-2 in their next 9 games, they're going to be looking elsewhere for their next head coach after this season. So, that's why I'm hesitant to say, they got rid of Scott Frost, they're going to become a bet on team. Now, I'm probably not going to bet against Nebraska here on Saturday because of the coaching change. And you are laying 11.5, 12 with Oklahoma. They are certainly the better of these two teams. It's not even close. Certainly talent, just the ability certainly on defense. There's a huge difference between these two teams. Nebraska got shredded and ripped apart by Northwestern over in Ireland. They got ripped apart by Georgia Southern, 45 points allowed. I think that's what really was people got pissed off too about with Scott Frost. This defense was supposed to be a lot better this year for Nebraska. And here they are giving up 642 yards to Georgia. That's right, 642 to Georgia Southern, 233 on the ground, 409 through the air. I mean, that is horrible defense from this Nebraska team. So the money's come in on Nebraska. I get it. And I knew it would. I knew it would. People say, it's bet the team off the coaching firing, because a lot of times you get an uptick in effort. Players it gets the players' attention, and they show up and they play a big, especially the first game. But I don't know if I'm running to do that. Oklahoma's a lot better than Nebraska. Brent Venables has done nice work here. And now it's only 2 games, and it's only UTEP and Kent State. But I like the way their defense is played. Not surprising. Brent Venables, a defensive guy. He knows how to cook up defense on that side of the ball. It's his background. Not surprising that Oklahoma's defenses look better in the first 2 weeks. And, of course, the UCF transfer at quarterback has been a nice find in the transfer portal here with Dylan Gabriel. And I think he fits this offense very well. So I understand the love for Nebraska because people want to bet teams when the coach gets fired. I ain't going to be one of those people. What do you think here, Connor? It's a fascinating one, Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Yeah, you're talking about it. Maybe it's just not right away where you want to be with Nebraska. Maybe there'll be a bet on if they're catching points like this down the line later in the year. These two last year, I know that last year, that game was close. I think it was at Oklahoma. Was a real tight one. Obviously, a little bit different. Gabriel, you mentioned Venables at Oklahoma. They've looked good. 2 home games, 2 easy games, like you mentioned, against Kent State and UTEP. Just took care of business. The defense does look good because Oklahoma's had trouble in the past 5 to 10 years covering big numbers, even at home. And I mentioned I knew the money would come down because I would want more than 2 touchdowns with Nebraska. This defense, you just went through it. It's given up 500 yards a game, the 6 or whatever it was to Georgia Southern. They're just a wait and see. And whatever happened to good old black shirts of the defense of Nebraska? That's a
You got to
seems a
go way
long way
back in
away.
time to find those fucks. Yeah.
No shit. That's just a long way away. This game's kind of just a watch for me. I love a double-digit home dog, but watching this Nebraska team, I can't pull the trigger just how bad the defense is, and I don't think they're very good offensively either. But there's something about Oklahoma, their first game on the road, in tough environment, even though it's Nebraska. I think everyone's just going to bet Oklahoma, though, like the regular public, as this comes down by Saturday. Oklahoma will just roll here. But I don't know. I don't think so. This is a game I'm just going to watch. But it should be interesting with the coaching change and everything that's going on there in Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't wrap my head. Even though I know there could be a little uptick after Scott, I don't believe though for a second that the reason why the Nebraska sucked this year is because they quit and they gave up on Scott Frost. I just don't think they got coached up very well. I don't think they were well prepared. I think the effort was there because clearly there was some effort. I mean, it's not like they laid down against Georgia Southern. They kept on coming back, trying to score and take that lead. It's just that they were poorly coached, poorly prepared. They didn't fix this defense. They never got better. It's not that the kids quit on Frost. I don't think that's the case. So that's why if you're betting this thinking, oh, you know what? They need a new voice. They need a new voice to get them ready for every game. And maybe Mickey Joseph will, have them better prepared. I don't know that. We'll find out on Saturday, but I don't think it's they quit on Frost. I think it's just he's bad coach. He couldn't get them prepared and he didn't get them ready to play, period, on a weekly basis. That's the issue. It's not
we'll
that the
always
kids
see.
gave up on him.
Yeah, will the intents show up? Because all we hear is, and we see it even in the ranking, they get 4-star recruits and they're not, that's not seems to be the problem. Like these guys need to play then because it's just not coming out on the field, So yeah, should be interesting.